Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the latest episode of Fun with Fro. I'm Corey Fro, I'm your cheesy-ass host, and what we're looking at right now is a crappy representation of a TKS-3, which is a World War II tank. I suggest you look it up online because they are cute little buggers, and they are relatively easy to see the intricate, annoying, pain-in-the-ass mechanics of the complicated suspension of a typical tank. Now, they're a little bit simpler than most because they're also a lot smaller than most, but at least it's possible to represent what they have in fun. I wouldn't want to explore what a modern tank might have underneath its tracks, but I went ahead with this one. Now, there are several things that I couldn't completely implement here, and I had to do a lot of cheating, but the important stuff is here. First of all, there is a rocker suspension here. These two wheels here are on their own rocker suspension. You can see the hinge in the middle. That is not suspended with a spring. It is suspended completely with gravity and weight. Same thing over here. Normally in the middle, the light green pieces, is a leaf spring, which is just a bunch of metal and torsion to apply springiness against the carriage that contains all the wheels in the middle. But because you can't do springiness without a spring right here in fun, I had to fudge it a bit. Normally this whole thing would be just a big chunk of metal, but it's a spring. And to get the forces proper, I just took the arms, put circles, attached the spring to the circles, and then put the circles in a box. And now it behaves almost like a leaf spring. That was a major pain in the ass because, and you may see it, the circles like to come out of that box and then my tank explodes, which is uncommon. Normally tanks don't explode from a suspension, but I digress. Over here we see a cheat that I had to do in order to kind of tune the suspension. I had to add a spring here which does not exist in the real tank, and a spring over here which does not exist in the real tank, to allow me to distribute weight between the front and the back so that it at least works. The spring levels are at different strengths, as you can see. Other interesting features, I spent way too much goddamn time making a fucking cog. So here it is. Here is my tank, TKS-3. We're going to take on the world. And away we go. This is full speed. Probably not the full speed of the actual tank. It went about 30 miles an hour, but this is full speed for fun, not chugging like a piece of crap. Not that fun's a piece of crap, just maybe my computer is. Anyways, here we are cresting our first hill. And you can see the suspension doing all sorts of crazy stuff as I kind of straddle this little nub. You can see that the suspension goes up and down erratically. The springs in fun are hyperactive. You see that the rockers are doing their job, making it so the tank tread kind of wraps around the hilltop there. And the spring does its job, making the tank bounce up and down, if erratically. And away we go. This was a major pain in the ass making this work, but it's fun and it looks pretty effing cool. If you see the TKS from World War II, it is quite a cute tank. If a machine of death and destruction could be considered cute, then the TKS can be considered cute. And here we, like, drive over shit, because we're cool, and we have a tank, and we got shit to drive over. We got our priorities straight. Point A, point B, crap in the middle, we're going over it because we got a tank. And as you notice, my suspension just exploded. I warned you this was going to happen, but that's okay, because this is fun, and not war or life and death. And I'm going to push Control Z, send us back to the beginning, and look, suspension's fixed. So I'm going to slow things down to about 30%, so we can watch this in slow-mo with a follow off once we get to some interesting terrain. I'll go ahead and take a follow off now. I'll zoom into parts. Okay, here's the rocker system. You can see that it kind of moves back and forth and wiggles because fun isn't entirely accurate, but it works. That light green circle at the top there, that's just the limit so that the wheels don't go beyond that. Here's the teeth in action. They tend not to slip if I don't set the speed too high, but there we go, slipping. Tends to slip going in reverse. If you look here at the middle, you can see that the spring in the middle compresses. Those forces would normally be distributed upwards by a leaf spring, and somewhat inwards by a leaf spring, kind of like an arch. And there's my suspension failing again. So here we are, we're off again. We're going to go, hopefully our suspension won't fail. You see these little green circles above the pink thing? Those are limits to try and prevent the suspension from failing. Doesn't always work. And we're slowly going towards an obstacle. There's the obstacle. Beautiful obstacle. So relaxing. I'm going to take us off follow again. So, watch the bits. And here's the suspension being very active, and bouncing and doing all sorts of fun stuff. And me getting very little traction. There we go. You can see the rockers bending, wrapping around again. Terribly exciting. I can sense your enthusiasm over the YouTube, over the interweb. And here we go. Man, was this a pain in the ass to create, but it does, I admit, look cool. And here we are going into debris. And we'll be done in a second, because now I'm annoyed. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, God, that would hurt. Don't get run over by tanks. Don't do this at home. Or go ahead, I don't really care. And now I'm going to go backwards to show where my model doesn't really work. As we watch the big spur gear get all gummed up. Oh, it's rubbing against the suspension. It wasn't doing that before. Huh. That shifted around somehow. Oh well. Shit, it happens. Huh, I guess it shifted way before. Oh well. And that basically concludes this entire monstrosity. I hope you enjoyed the TKS, and do search for it, because there are some great pictures of it. And it's cute. And it's smaller than a Volkswagen Bug, and cuter than one, and if I could have $1 million I would buy one, but I don't, so I can only dream.